Hello again everyone, Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about the ruler of the 11th house posited in the 12th house in a natal horoscope. Well, as most of you know, the 11th house is connected with goals, hopes, aspirations, causes, human rights, humanitarian efforts, friends, acquaintances, organizations. And look at the 12th house, it's connected with restrictions, limitations, hidden enemies, solitude, seclusion, things that are done in a private nature and self-undoing. Well, let me get started. The first thing I'm going to look at is that perhaps the person's friends and acquaintances might be people that have, I guess we could say, a Piscean-like way about them. They might be somewhat nebulous. Might be very idealistic. They might be drawn to compassionate friends. They might be maybe somewhat obscure, and they might have some quality to them that might be kind of confusing. On the negative side, that the person's friends, acquaintances, if the planet especially receives predominantly negative aspects, could lead to the person's self-undoing. Friends and acquaintances might play a role in this person's life that's connected with solitude and seclusion. Perhaps a lot of their friends are on, like say, on the internet, and maybe a lot of correspondence with them is done in private, like say through emails or instant messaging. Look at this placement, that the 11th house is connected with the hopes and goals, aspirations. So this person might have some aspirations that are connected with like the healing fields, hospital work, perhaps prison work, even something connected with working like as a medium or some kind of like as like a psychic astrologer, something where insight, where they use their profound insight and intuition. These persons' causes might be connected with maybe people becoming more cognizant of using their intuition and mediumistic ability. Look at this position too, is that the 11th house is connected with organizations and groups, and perhaps the organizations and groups might be connected with things that are connected with hospitals, that are connected with healing, that are connected with compassion, or helping those that are underprivileged, like the oppressed, the impoverished, people that are less fortunate, things that involve healing others, things that are very philanthropic and charitable. The friends that this person has can impact perhaps the hidden enemies that this person has. It doesn't necessarily mean that the friends and acquaintances, that some may become hidden enemies, although this could be possible, but perhaps the friends might even be beneficial in bringing the hidden enemies out into the open, or make this person more cognizant of them. Perhaps the friends, acquaintances might play some kind of role in this person's limitations or restrictions, not necessarily through some malicious action or effort, but maybe this person's friends, maybe at times, for example, might be discouraging or might play a role in indoctrinating limiting beliefs on this person, and thus maybe unwittingly inhibit this person from making progress in certain areas of his or her life. Friends can lead to the self-undoing, possibly. Look at this placement and the social advocacy, their any interest like in human rights, their causes, and their friends might play a role, might be connected with something that is secretive, and perhaps the aspirations and goals, objectives of this person is not something that this person would necessarily readily disclose or divulge to others. look at this placement and perhaps any interest that's, we look at the 11th house and it corresponds with the sign Aquarius, and look at things that are connected with innovation, electronics, computer science, a technical nature. Perhaps this is something that there might be an interest in, but perhaps it would be, if there is an interest in it, that it would be done perhaps in solitude or seclusion, some kind of private setting or manner, such as like an online course on the internet or something. Perhaps this person's views on things that are connected with 11th house matters, such as social reform, such as their views on human rights, social advocacy, is not something that they're going to disclose readily. Things that are connected with ingenuity, innovations, electronics, computers, for some reason, maybe this person just does not, this is not something that maybe these matters are often talked about. The relationship with friends can be something that this person is very private about. Their organizations they choose or they get involved in is something that might be done somewhat covertly, and something that they just choose maybe not to get into. And also another thing, if the ruler receives predominantly negative aspects, it can be possible, I believe, in isolated cases, that perhaps the aspirations, goals, objectives this person chooses might be to their detriment. So I would say people with this position, it might lead their self-undoing. People in this position might need to be very judicious and prudent about their aspirations and goals, and make sure that it is the right path and that they choose the right thing, which is going to be advantageous to him or her. But like I said, what I'm saying is I'm sure very isolated and remote, but I believe because the 11th house is connected with goals, aspirations, and objectives, the 12th house is connected with self-undoing, restriction, limitation. That's why I state that. But anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the ruler of the 11th house posited in the 12th house in the natal horoscope. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about the ruler of the 12th house and the 1st house in the natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel, but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis on a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because a person astrologically is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.